seeing like everything, like all the crime scene stuff set up and the police everywhere was just, it was just unreal. I was just in utter shock.
I'm here to find out one thing. What kind of person are you? Because right now, we don't know. Is Magny the type of guy that's a hard, cold, calculated murderer? Or are you the type of guy that made a mistake? You're one of those two people.
Not too long ago, I wrote him a letter and I basically implored him to try to save his soul and confess and repent. But I haven't heard back from him.
If I could say anything to him, I would just ask him to find it in his heart to please come forward. If he could just help me and my brother and my family to find closure. That's all we ask for him.
This one's a picture of all of us at the zoo. I remember these times. These were pretty good times. This picture kind of sums it up a little bit. I mean, my dad looks more serious, but my mom definitely loved hanging out with us.
It takes me back some good memories. But it's hard to look at pictures with my dad in it. I feel a sense of like anxiety. Even animals and things like that, like look out for their offspring. I feel like my father like just did not care for anything. This guy was inhumane, and there's only one place in society for people like this, and this is in jail, and this is exactly where he's gonna remain for the rest of his life. I used to go out to the park a lot by myself during like an early age, and I used to kind of play with just like the bigger kids and stuff that were there. One day I was playing basketball and someone like took my basketball. I went home.
Where are you going? Come here.
My dad was very, very verbal to us, so if we did something wrong, he would let us know right then and there.
You missing something? Where's that basketball?
Someone took it.
Someone stole that ball from you?
My dad was fuming mad.
You need to learn how to stand up for yourself. What's wrong with you?
He was really pissed. His response was like, you're a little punk. You're gonna let someone do that to you.
You do nothing!
Dad, I tried to get back.
I think in a sense, the ball wasn't the issue. It was more just like my character. I was, like in his eyes, like not tough enough for him.
You have to listen to me. You have to stand up and be a man.
My dad's instructions were, no, we're getting your ball back. Come on. You were going to the court. You're gonna fight this person, whoever took it.
Come on. Let's go.
Dad, please.
I just remember being like really fearful. He took me down to the park where I lost the basketball at, and pretty much like started going off and wanted me to like fight everyone there. My dad was trying to teach me a lesson of standing up for yourself, but that was like a harsh lesson. It took me pretty much my whole childhood to learn that I could talk out my problems instead of resorting to violence.
My dad, when he would get upset, it would pretty much, he'd look calm, look cool, until everything just hit a switch. And then whatever it was, that pressure valve just breaks, and then he's just all reasoning is like out. My dad didn't really spend money on anybody. He was beyond frugal. He was just really cheap. So I didn't have like certain cool things that like other kids had. Like one of the kids in the class had this really cool Karate Kid headband. I stole it from him. And my dad found out, so he told me, go to your room. So I went to my room. I just remember looking out the window and I saw him going out there. I was like, what the hell? I was like, what's he doing? And then I realized, I was like, oh man, he's like looking for a branch from the rose bush. He found like a big branch that had a bunch of thorns on it. And then it's like dawning in my mind, like, oh shoot, I'm about to get whooped on with this thing. I was terrified. And then I just see him like start to come in the house. I'm like, oh shoot. And he just came in and just started wailing on me.
Dad, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
His eyes wouldn't be like normal eyes. It would be like it would just bug out, like, how could you? And it would just boom, 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 and just start raging into it.
No son of mine is a thief.
You stole this? How could you do that?
Please stop, I won't do it again.
He would hit me until he ran out of steam or until I cried to the point where he would just, it would kind of cause him to like de-escalate a bit. He would just go to his room. We didn't really talk about it no more. The wild thing is I grew up with so much of that stuff that for the longest I didn't even think it was a big deal. But it was like the actual whooping of it wasn't even the worst part. It was just the fear of seeing him cutting the rose branch. My father loved money, and it was borderline to worshiping it. Money was more important to him than my mom, than me, than my little brother. I mean, sad to say, it even felt like it was more important to him than God. I remember one day, me and my little brother were in the bedroom, and I could hear my mom and dad, like, arguing.
I work hard for my money, Maggie. I should at least have a say in how we spend it.
Why? So you can be frivolous and spend it how you please?
There was a lot of fights in the house about finances. He would just take her paycheck and just literally just give her like small amounts, like $5, and that was it.
Maggie, our children should be wearing hand-me-down clothing.
They are looking for what they have, and so are you.
Next thing you know, it really escalated.
You disrespectful woman, you make me sick.
Get away from me, Maggie, please.
And then it sounded like I heard my mom start yelling for help, like she was in distress.
Stop, please. You're hurting me, Maggie.
Listen to me.
It sounded like my mom was yelling for help and my dad was trying to cover her mouth.
Richard! Richard!
I was just kind of there with Ryan, you know, and I think Ryan was really young, so he was really scared.
And all we could hear is like screaming, yelling.
You want me to stop?
I remember my mom saying like, call 911.
I was like too scared to even step out of the room, so I was just at the doorway just listening like to what was going on. And I was just like, I didn't know what to do.
Get away from me, Maggie, please.
She was like yelling, help, help, call 911.
Call the police.
I was like just really scared and frozen. I wish I could have just picked up the phone and called 911, but I was really like scared of my dad. I couldn't even envision what he would have done if he saw me on the phone with 911. He literally might have just like put me in a hospital or worse.
Make me sick.
And then it was like just pitch silent. And then I remember my mom just come into the room. She was like really subdued, and she was just really sad. She was like, "Why didn't you call like for the police?"
Richard, didn't you hear me calling you?
I'm sorry.
I was like, "I'm sorry, I was just really scared." And then I think she kind of realized too that I was just like too scared to do anything.
It's okay. It's not your fault.
When I look back on that incident, I think my mom hit the point where she was just fed up with everything, with dealing with my dad and the way that he was treating her. And she was pretty much ready to leave.
Everything is fine. Don't worry about it.
But then in Egypt, divorce is like taboo. Like it just is something completely frowned upon. So between the cultural and religious pulls, I think it was like really hard on my mom. She couldn't really just up and leave and just go.
I was working and I remember my mom calling me that she wasn't gonna be able to pick me up that night. And she was always the one to pick me up from work. I kind of had like a gut feeling that things were just like out of the ordinary.
Mom, where you at?
When I got back to the house, this was the first time I actually like saw my mom like battered by my dad.
You okay? What happened?
Ask your father.
My dad had hit my mom with like a closed fist and hit her eye, and you could already tell that there was like a lot of swelling.
You okay?
Yeah.
He fractured her eye socket. It was definitely one of the most traumatic times of my life.
Oh my God.
Richard must have walked in the door within like minutes after that I came in.
Mom, what happened to you?
I got home and I remember going in and my brother was down there and my mom was sitting in the kitchen.
Mom, this is really bad.
Are you okay?
Her nose was bleeding and she was like trying to like still stop the blood. And I was really concerned. I was like, what happened?
Did Dad do this to you?
He lost his temper.
You know, she told me that they had got in an argument and then that he punched her in the face. I was pretty upset. And it really concerned me because her nose was still bleeding. This was like at least an hour or so out from the incident and it was still bleeding. So I immediately thought to myself, like, I have to take her to the hospital.
Come on, let's go.
It set a whole cascade of events because the nurse at the hospital was obligated to call the police and let them know about the domestic violence. I don't think my mom realized that her telling him at the hospital would lead to him being arrested. When me and my mom got home, the cops were there.
What's going on?
Your husband is under arrest, ma'am.
They went upstairs and they pretty much put him in handcuffs and brought him down.
This is a big mistake. This is not right.
And I remember he was still in his pajamas and barefoot. He was like, well, can I put my slippers on? And they're like, nope.
Why don't you at least let me get dressed?
Not gonna happen, sir.
I felt really scared because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know that the police were gonna come and take him away. I've never seen a look in his face like that before. He was just so pissed off.
As he walked by, I just remember him looking at me and telling me that this is all because of you.
This is your fault.
And then the cops just took him right out. They were charging him with domestic violence. The restraining order was just automatically kicked in. My dad wasn't allowed anywhere near her or the house. That was a very scary point because I just knew that our lives would never be the same.
My mom was considering a divorce. She kept on swaying back and forth because she loved my dad and he was really manipulative. He tried to spend time with me and Richard. He tried several times to like just reach out to us and tell us that he loved us.
It seemed like he wasn't bent on revenge at the time, but he was more trying to just get everything back together and kind of make peace with everything. That it put me at ease a bit. One day, during the time that the domestic violence case was moving forward, the police came over to the house. They had an anonymous letter.
We thought you should take a look at this.
The letter said something along the lines of, I'm a concerned neighbor, and I just wanted to inform you guys that Magdi has been trying to, find somebody to kill his wife. They wanted to stay anonymous and just let him know that this was something that my dad was thinking about.
We don't know who it's from. There's no name on the envelope and there's no return address.
So the police were asking, do you know who might have wrote it? And, I didn't really have a clue.
Do you recognize the handwriting? Does it look familiar to you?
I knew he was capable of harsh things and even borderline heinous things, but not murder.
This doesn't sound like my dad. I wonder if it's some sort of hoax.
I told him, I was like, I don't think he's stupid enough to do something like that. He seems to be okay right now, at least when I talk to him.
Things have just been blown out of proportion, really. This doesn't sound like Magdi.
All right. Well, we're going to keep tabs on you guys.
A part of me was just seeing what I wanted to see, which was that they would work things out and that he wasn't such a horrible person. I wish I would have taken that letter more serious, but I didn't. And it's like I totally misread him.
I hear a door open. And that's when someone comes onto my bed and then they grab my mouth. No! Remember the power getting cut off? It was one of those things that we didn't see it coming. There was light in the house and then it literally just went straight dark.
What's going on?
My mom, she got really paranoid and she was like, oh my God, why aren't the lights turning on?
Ryan, I don't like this.
Her kind of pacing back and forth and stuff, oh my gosh, trying to test light switches and stuff like that.
Why aren't they working?
I don't know. It's not a blackout. Everyone else seems to have light.
How is this possible?
My father loved money, and he's so cheap. I just thought he stopped paying the bill.
Don't worry. Dad probably forgot to pay the bills.
It's just not a shock to me that he would cut the power out on even us as his kids.
I'll figure it out. I have an idea.
I knew my dad had a bunch of paperwork and shoe boxes underneath the bed. But as I was going through the paperwork, I found out a lot of bank statements for various accounts that my mom had no clue about. At first, I was just seeing accounts that were smaller, they had a couple thousand or a few thousand. But then I hit one, it was some platinum savings CD. And when I looked at the total of that, I was like, whoa, there's 100,000 in this.
Mom, come here.
What is it?
And there were multiple accounts that we found. I started piecing together that there's quite a bit of money that's there.
Look at this.
I don't understand. What is this?
We're not talking about just a few thousand here and there, but we're talking about hundreds of thousands. I was pretty shocked.
Believe this. Why would he keep this from me?
Half of that should be yours.
there's a ton of money here. It's like, you know, if you got a divorce, this is half is yours. I don't think she even realized that that was how it worked.
He was trying to steal from us.
She was in the dark on everything. Finding all those statements and all that stuff kind of made her even more upset.
I cannot believe he did this to me.
That really set my mom in motion too, where she was like, enough's enough. She was just done. He started, to me, seemed to start mellowing out a bit. When I graduated nursing school, I saw my dad, he came by, and I was like, man, it seems kind of weird, doesn't it? Like, Dad seems like extra chill, like, man, he's not normally like that. That was really nice. That was really nice. It was kind of how I was hoping that their divorce would be, just amicable, like around each other. I could have a relationship with him and a relationship with her, like normal people when they divorce. I had thought that he had just come to terms with everything and just kind of like, you know, found peace or something with it. But looking back on it, maybe that was when he kind of like made his mind up, like, that's it.
The whole night, everything repeats in my head a lot. I don't like to talk about it too much just because it was so traumatic to me. I came home late that night, made my way upstairs, fell asleep in my bed. Everything was like normal, and that's when I hear like a door open. I'm thinking in my head like, oh, it's probably Richard just to check in on me or whatever. That's when someone comes onto my bed and then they grab my mouth. A bit down on the hand. And then from there, I quickly realized that this person was much bigger than me.
Who are you? Help! Shut up! I'm gonna kill you! Help! No! Shut up!
And that's when a second person comes into the room.
No! 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 Stop! No!
My mouth was getting duct taped. My hands were getting duct taped behind my back. And then also my feet were getting duct taped. I was pleading, like, please don't kill me, please don't kill me. And then that's when I see my mom, like, coming down the hall. She is yelling, like, frantically, like, take anything that you want. And that's when the second guy, like, grabs my mom and takes her towards, like, her room.
Just don't hurt him, please! Please! Please!
The first suspect, like, grabbed me and then, like, put me into the closet. I didn't hear anything else after. I felt helpless. I was like just survival mode. I was trying to like get my hands to like break free. I got the tape off my mouth, started like unbounding my feet, grabbed my phone, and I ran straight down the hall. And I remember looking to the right, like a quick like glance like towards like my mom's door. It wasn't open, so I didn't want to see who was going to be on the other side because I didn't know if they were still in my house. So I just ran straight out of the house.
Now, an emergency? Someone just robbed our house. They broke in. They tied me and my mama.
Is everybody okay?
I don't know. They just beat me up, so I don't know where my mom is. They're like, don't make me have to kill you. I will kill you. Don't get your mom killed.
She's telling me to go back to the house, and I'm telling her I'm not going to go back. I was scared that people were still in my house.
You have no idea who this is, right?
No, it's two black guys.
I called Richard and I let him know, and immediately he was just like, "Oh my God, I'm rushing in there right now." And I also phoned my dad too.
I've never heard my little brother sound like as scared or as terrified as he did when he called me up on the phone. I tried getting back to the house as fast as possible. And I was like, where the hell's mom? Like, I was like really thinking like, where the hell is she? Like what the heck's going on? I was really nervous. If he found out that I was like doing a wiretap against him, oh my gosh, that would have been horrible. He might have killed me. The cops came and they told me like, we're gonna need to take you to the station and we gotta ask you some questions. And then they just started asking like a bunch of questions, like, where were you?
I went to my girlfriend's after work. Then my brother called me.
And your girlfriend, does she live near your mother's house?
I totally felt like a suspect. It was super scary.
Why does it matter?
Because we're running an investigation.
I just remember hitting a point where I was like, all right, I'm not answering any more questions till you guys tell me what's going on. Where's my mom at? I remember one of the detectives, like, he was just really blunt with me. He was like, she's dead.
She was murdered.
They basically stabbed her to death. It just hit me so hard. And I was just in just utter shock. Up to that point, I thought it was just a robbery. I thought they just broke in to steal some stuff. I couldn't believe that my mom was murdered.
No, please.
And my... Sorry, man. It's like bringing a lot of old emotions.
Please, no.
I heard Richard just scream like to the top of his lungs.
Please, no.
And I didn't know Richard was like in like a room next to me or anything. I just heard him like scream out of the blue. That's when they told me that my mom, she had passed away. It was just like in complete shock. Just felt like a sense of like emptiness like right away. Just didn't make sense. This is my mother, Harriet Grigus. I like seeing pictures of my mom. It definitely brings a lot of memories back into life. She's very beautiful in the picture. The holidays were really big around my mom, like preparing for Christmas and cooking meals and things like that.
Looks like it was actually before she got married. It's like she was like younger and really vibrant. She was just an amazing person, like very soft-hearted, very sweet. I don't know what kind of evil person or people could do that kind of stuff. I was told that the police had to go there and actually get him from work and bring him in to question him. He still went to work. He didn't even like take the day off or anything. He just went to work. And he had known about it because my little brother had called him up. Even if they were going through a divorce and whatnot, I mean, my goodness, you still check on the person and, is mom okay? Are you okay? Like, I mean, what is that?
This is impossible.
I'm sorry, sir.
I started getting suspicious of my dad.
I called him. Right after I called you.
I phoned him after calling 911. My dad picked up the phone at about 4 o'clock in the morning, off of about the first ring.
And he picked up just like that.
his phone was all the way in the living room. So that means that he had to have got out of bed and walked down the hall and go to the living room to pick up. If he wasn't already up, then I don't know how he picked up so fast. It was almost like he was like waiting for a phone call. So I was very suspicious about him.
It's happening. You don't understand.
He was crying, but to me it just looked like, it just felt fake. I just felt no like real emotional connection with him. I just couldn't stop thinking that he had something to do with it. We went back several times to talk to the police and express to him how I was like really starting to think that my dad had something to do with it. And they expressed to me too that, you know, we think that he might too, but we don't have the evidence. So the cops basically like brought up the idea like of wearing a wire. To like, you know, talk with my dad and see if there's any information or anything that I could find out. I met up with my dad. I was really nervous if he found out that I was like doing a wiretap against him. Oh my gosh, that would have been horrible. He might have killed me.
How's it going with you and your brother?
I was walking a real tightrope because I didn't want him to be suspicious that I thought he had murdered Mom.
I was just thinking about it. Everybody loved Mom. It doesn't make sense. Why her?
I was trying to kind of be more like, I can't believe this happened, and who do you think would do something like this?
It was probably all just random.
He wasn't really telling me like much of anything.
Look, it's best if we just put this behind us.
He spent a lot of time talking about like, oh, you need to just move on. And he talked about like the house needs to be like maintained, the yard still needs to be done. And I mean, Mom's literally just been murdered. Who gives about the house? We decided that it was best to move up north. We have family from my mom's side up north that was able to take us in and at least give us some time to like get back on our feet.
We cut off contact with our father pretty much right after moving. We didn't want him to know where we moved. We kept in contact with the police very often. What's going on? And then we later on found out that it was like turning into like a cold case.
These two gang members approaching Dad, trying to get money out of him for something.
Well, 5 rent, 5,000. I thought you got paid everything. 1,500 I have on me.
It turns out that was actually part of the undercover police sting. As time went on, I started being like really frustrated. My dad's just out there like going about his life, and nobody's been brought to justice for what they did to my mom. I was feeling at that time like this thing's not gonna get solved. I don't want them to stop investigating this. So I started writing letters to like different like news agencies and stuff. We wrote to the governor's office. I wrote to all the different Congress people. I think we gathered like over 1,000 letters. And friends of friends, people that didn't even know us were like you know, we're trying to help and compassionate and stuff about it. I think I'm gonna need a little time out, if it's okay.
It just was really tough on our family because we felt like we had a clear suspect, but we weren't getting any answers. But one day I received a phone call from my dad's girlfriend. She had left me a voicemail and she was just going frantic. Some gang members had shown up to the house. She was referencing that they're like the people that like came and broke into her house, and then it just made my heart race. I literally dropped what I was doing and I phoned the police right away.
Hello, I need to speak to whoever's working the Harriet Gerges case.
Because I was like, oh my gosh, we have like a break in the case. They're like, okay, we'll look into it, Ryan. I promise we'll look into it.
Call me back if you hear anything.
I learned later that was a sting operation, that 2 cops were posed as gang members.
Check it out, man. About him killing your wife. We're not gonna fix it, you know what I mean? We want 5 rent, 5,000. You know what I'm saying?
They were just pretty much trying to get like some hush money.
Give me a call, man. It's my company. Give me a call tomorrow about 5,000. Give me up tomorrow.
My dad takes their phone number. Next day, he calls them up and arranges a meeting in person.
I said we got paid everything. 1,500 I have on me.
My dad agrees to make the payment. He doesn't deny anything in the video. When you see that video right there, it clearly shows you that he's guilty. It really hurts me whenever I see that footage because I always feel like this caught him like red-handed, but he still tends to deny things. And it's really heartbreaking to see.
I said we got paid everything. 1,500 I have on me.
I mean, that's just a showing of how cheap my dad is. He's still trying to like, I don't have that much money, and how like trying to negotiate it down as cheap as possible. It falls right in step with the kind of person he is. That line, I paid you already for everything, really set in stone that like this guy like had my mom killed.
Yeah, this is exactly how I last saw my dad. This must have been the day that he got arrested. I have no sympathy for this guy right here. This guy's not my dad right here. This guy right here is a liar. This guy right here is a criminal.
This mugshot's like just sad. I don't even know what to say about this picture. This is just... I feel like this is a picture of what happens when you get caught up in just pure greed and evil. It's like, man, why'd you do it? It's like, you know, you had so much going in your life.
He was the person who broke in that night and tied me up. They were able to track him down with the DNA evidence. They ran it through and it had a hit in the system since he was already incarcerated for another crime. It's hard for me to fathom the thought that my dad knows exactly who was responsible for the murder and won't give him up.
Not too long ago, I wrote him a letter and I basically implored him to just confess. He's in jail, he's convicted, but at least he could try to save his soul and confess and repent. But I haven't heard back from him. My mom's murder case is still open. I pray every day that we still catch the slayer. But I mean, I'm happy that we at least got some justice. At least we caught one person and we caught our dad. And regardless of what happens here, justice is going to be served, whether here on Earth or afterwards. There's justice is going to be served one way or another.
That would have been easier for my son to be dead. When your son dies in my small rural community, people come over and they comfort you and they bring casseroles. They don't bring a casserole when your son's in prison for murder. Not quite 15 years ago, I realized that my son was a psychopath and he hates me. I have no doubt that Patrick, if he gets out, will try to kill me. I have no doubt of that. This is my favorite picture of Patrick. I look at this little kid and I think how innocent he was and how much he enjoyed life and how much I enjoyed him. I was a single mom living in Arkansas with my two sons, Clay, who was the older, and Patrick, the younger. We used to call Patrick Little Peter Perfect behind his back. Patrick was the golden child for me because he was never any trouble. And when he began to change, it came out of left field. It shocked me. Is that Patrick?
That is Patrick.
I couldn't recognize him. It's been 12 years since I've seen Patrick. This is inmate 655687, but he's not recognizable to me as my son. That's a stranger. And it's not somebody that I really want to know. Can you show me the picture of Patrick as a baby with a little yellow ball? There's no resemblance. This was a perfectly innocent little baby. And this is a man that's a monster. He's Charlie Manson. I love that baby, but he's gone. Patrick was the easiest kid in the world to raise until he was about 11. And that was when he started having problems. We were pretty poor. I was living on child support, and Patrick asked me for a Walkman, which was a in thing for kids to have at that time. And I told him I couldn't afford it. He seemed like he accepted that. But one day, he came home from school, and he had the Walkman. And I said, wow, where did you get that? And he said, oh, I borrowed it from somebody at school. Well, I got a knock on the door. Hello.
Hi.
Can I help you?
I'm sorry to bother you. Are you Patrick's mother?
Yes. And there's two parents and a child standing outside.
I'm Tim.
Hi.
This is my wife, Betty.
Hi.
And it seems as though Patrick has convinced our son to sell him his Walkman.
And they tell me that Patrick had traded the son a $20 bill and a check for the Walkman. He had stolen a check and a $20 bill out of my purse.
Patrick, would you come in here, please?
God knows I was embarrassed that my son had done this.
All right, Patrick, give James back the Walkman and apologize for what you did.
Here. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Have a good day now.
You too.
After the parents left, I told Patrick, we need to talk about this.
What did you do?
I didn't do anything.
I didn't do it, was his response. I was furious at him for lying to me.
They have my check with my name on it, and how do you think they got it?
I said I don't know.
But Patrick continued to deny that that was the case. I was so angry that I didn't want to see his face.
Just go up to your room. I don't want to see you for the rest of the night.
Lying in the face of evidence. This is a psychopathic trait, but I didn't know it. I just thought it was a kid being stubborn. It was about 10 o'clock at night after I had spanked him and sent him to his room, and Clay went to bed. But then he came back out and told me that Patrick was gone. And I went into the room and the window was open. The screen had been knocked off of the window and Patrick was nowhere to be found. I was frantic, so I called 911. It turned out the county to look for him. And he was found about 7 miles away.
Have a good evening, ma'am.
Thank you, officer. You too.
When Patrick came home, he was still enraged and defiant.
Patrick, don't you walk away from me. We're going to talk about this.
He was looking me straight in the eye with this stony glare.
Don't do it again.
I'd never seen that expression on Patrick's face.
What are you gonna do, lock me up?
That famous picture of Charlie Manson staring like Satan, that's the look. And among people who are familiar with psychopaths, we call it the look. And he said, you can't watch me 24 hours a day. I'll do it again, and you can't stop me. He would do what he wanted to do, and there was nothing in his mind that I could do about it. And that scared me to death because I knew he was telling the truth. I couldn't watch him 24 hours a day. I was in college. I was working part-time. And so I tried to figure out a way to control him. And so I took him out of public school, enrolled him in a private school. My son went to church with me 3 times a week. He was taught responsibility and truthfulness. After a while, he went back to being little Peter Perfect again. So it kind of passed over as far as I could see. When Patrick was about 15, I was working nights in a hospital. And one night I get a call at work from a cop, and he has found Patrick joyriding in the second car that I had. They brought him to the hospital where I worked. He was not very remorseful. He thought it was funny. He was, again, defying me. I was scared and frustrated and angry. He could have killed somebody or killed himself.
Now you listen to me. What you did was dangerous. I won't let you do it again.
I said, okay, I have extra beds in the hospital. If you're gonna pull this kind of stuff, I can't trust you. So here's the deal. For the rest of the school year, you're going to come with me to work.
From now on, I'm gonna keep a closer eye on you.
And I'd put him to sleep in an empty hospital bed and then take him to school in the morning. So he had 24-hour supervision, and he didn't like that. The look he had in his eyes was so defiant and so angry that it actually made me afraid. It's almost, I would love to cut your throat. It's horrible. I didn't think he was gonna kill me, but it was an absolute defiance. I'm laying there on the floor, and Patrick's just standing over me with this defiant look. And I'm totally dumbstruck that he would do this. That summer following the joyriding, I sent him and Clay to my parents. My dad was a school teacher. He was retired. So I wanted him to, over the summer, when I couldn't watch Patrick myself day and night, keep an eye on him. In the fall, Patrick came home. I wasn't taking him to work with me anymore. Things kind of went back to normal. And then he started roaming the streets at night. One morning, I got up about 6 o'clock in the morning and I went into the kitchen to make a cup of coffee, and Patrick comes strolling in the back door.
Patrick?
And he'd obviously been out all night.
You can't be out all night. You've got class in a couple of hours.
So?
I told Patrick that he could not be out at night. It was a school night, and I had no idea where he was going or what he was doing.
From now on, you're gonna have a strict curfew, and if you don't...
We got into a verbal altercation, and the next thing I know, he hits me.
Oh!
Knocks me to the floor. And then he kicks me in the ribs. It was over in 30 seconds. I'm laying there on the floor, and Patrick's just standing over me with this defiant look. I'll do what I want to do, and you can't stop me. And the next thing I know, he's out the front door and gone. And I end up with a couple of broken ribs. I just laid there for probably 5 minutes before I even tried to get up. But I didn't even really feel the physical pain. It was emotional pain that my son would hit me and kick me and then just stand there. After I was finally able to get up, I called the police and I turned him in for assault and runaway. I was trying to give Patrick consequences for his behavior. But my mother had taken him in to save him from the cops and getting him in trouble. She's gonna take care of him and he'll be a good boy at her house. I thought that Patrick would be better with a man in the house, and so I was happy and excited for him to come home. I actually thought things were okay. He was going to high school for his senior year, making decent grades, and I thought things were kind of hunky-dory. About 6 months after we had moved to Florida and things seemed good, I got a knock on the door in the afternoon. And it was the school resource officer who came in and very gently broke to me the news that Patrick had a gun at school in a gray gym bag and had been showing it to other students. Well, Patrick wasn't home, and I immediately looked in the back seat. And sure enough, there was a gun in the gray gym bag. There's no words for the fear, the pain, the frustration. I can't think of a word in the English language that can encompass the pain I felt. And then Patrick came home.
What is this?
And he had a kind of a shocked, uh-oh look on his face. It surprised him that I knew he had the gun.
Where did you get it? And why would you bring it to school?
He didn't say anything, and I verbally lit into him.
Did you hear me? I asked you a question.
I don't remember exactly the words I used, but I told him there would be severe consequences.
You know what? I am sick of the nonsense. I'm calling the cops.
And he took off. He ran. And I'm left standing there with a gun in a gray gym bag. And then I called the police and told them he was a runaway. At this point, as his mother, it was like I was on a roller coaster. And each time it hit bottom, it was worse than the time before. But I couldn't let go of my fantasy son, the boy that I wanted him to be. And it was hard for me to accept the reality of who Patrick was. That night, he stole a motorcycle, and 2 days later, the police caught him and called me. And my husband and I went to the police station, and this big old cop brought him down. And Patrick looked at me with absolute contempt, and his words were, "What the took you so long?" It was like I'd been hit in the face with a bucket of water. He, I think, wanted to show me that he was in control. I was so mad, and I wanted to show him that I did have some control over him. And I turned to the policeman, and I said, "There's been a mistake. This boy looks like my son, but he can't be my son because my son wouldn't talk to me like that. Take him back." And my husband and I turned and left. And I got a glimpse out of my peripheral vision of Patrick having a totally shocked look on his face. That was totally unexpected on his part. I got home and the telephone rang, and it was Patrick. And he was crying, wondering why I had not taken him out. We went to court a few days later. He got probation, mandatory counseling, and a curfew. He wasn't 18, so they released him to me, and I brought him home. I was so tired of dealing with his things one after another that I almost didn't want to take him back. But I felt like I had to. I was his mother. It wasn't very long before he convinced his brother to rent an apartment for the two of them to move into. I knew that nothing good could come out of Patrick getting Clay to rent an apartment for the two of them. I knew that was a total disaster in the happening.
Clay?
I did my best to talk Clay out of renting the apartment.
I don't think I like this. Are you sure you want to do it?
Hey, don't worry about it, Mom. I can look out for him this way.
It's not too late to get your deposit back.
But Patrick talked him into it.
You know how he is.
I'll be fine. I can handle him.
And they moved out. I kept saying, "Oh, he's just a teenager and he'll grow up and be okay." I wanted to believe that Patrick would be okay. I stayed in denial. I wanted to throttle him for doing something like this, for being so stupid. Not long after they moved out, maybe a week, my husband and I went over to their apartment.
That was not really a good time.
Don't be silly. We're coming in.
And I walked in. The whole apartment was covered with computer and TVs and wallets and all kind of merchandise that I knew had to be stolen. And I asked Patrick, where did you get these? Did you steal them? And he said, hey, I don't have a job. I need some way to get money.
I have to pay my rent somehow, unless you're gonna pay it for me.
And I said, stealing is the way you intend to support yourself?
I did not raise my son to be a petty criminal.
It was like, enough is enough, boy. I'm calling the cops.
Come on.
We talked about me turning him into the cops years and years later. And he said, you shouldn't have done that to me. You shouldn't have turned me into the cops. And I said, what should I have done? I was trying to teach you a lesson to stop you from destroying your life. And he said, I don't know, but you shouldn't have called the cops. You shouldn't have betrayed me. Now, this is his second arrest in Florida. But in Florida, unless a juvenile has murdered somebody, they will immediately release them to their parents. No bail, nothing, just release them. So about 2 or 3 days after he came home, I wake up one morning and Patrick's gone. The ankle monitor was laying on the floor. He cut it off. It was kind of like giving me the finger. He was showing me that I couldn't control him. He was going to do what he was going to do. I found out he'd stolen another motorcycle and gone to Texas. I had a sense of urgency. I knew that if he continued to do that when he turned 18, he was going to prison. He's going to have a criminal record. And I only had a few months to get through to him to calm it down. He was on the downhill slope on a bobsled, and I wanted to stop it before he hit a tree. This is my son, the felon. This is his first adult mugshot. I had a fantasy of seeing Patrick graduate from an Ivy League school with a PhD. And what I get is a mugshot. He was arrested for aggravated burglary in Dallas. He stole some computers at gunpoint and tied the people up. He looks kind of like he's surprised that he got caught. He just looks dead, empty. It's like somebody that's without any emotion. This is no longer my child. You know, this is just some thug. A few months after Patrick got out on parole, he came to visit us. He came in and he asked me, do you know why I didn't come home?
Bet you want to know why I tried to stay in Texas.
All right. Why don't you tell me?
And he looked at me and said in a very hateful voice, I didn't come home because I knew if I got into trouble, you would turn me into the cops. And I said, you got that right, boy. Nothing has changed.
I want you to get your life together, so stop giving me reasons to turn you in.
He just kind of huffed and walked off. And basically, that was the last I spoke to him that visit. I knew Patrick hated me, and there are no words to describe the feeling of having your child essentially spit in your eye. It knots up in my stomach. It goes up my spine. It comes out as tears. I can't explain the depth of the pain that I felt. And even now, talking about it will bring up fears and tears and pain.
For 3 days, Tarrant County lawmen searched through a wooded area in North Fort Worth.
Nothing would have prepared me for what was to come next. Nothing would have prepared me for Patrick becoming a killer. I knew that Patrick had bad behavior and violent behavior, but the only thing I'm afraid of at that point in time is that he's going to do something that is illegal, whether it's rob a liquor store or steal a car, but nothing would have prepared me for Patrick becoming a killer. Hello? I picked up the phone, and it was a detective from Dallas telling me that my son, Patrick, had killed a girl. At that point, I melted down, totally melted down. I screamed like a dog who had been shot with a shotgun in the gut. I screamed and I cried. It was my worst fear. I was grief-stricken. I was in denial. I was in sadness. I was in anger. I felt every range of emotion that the human can feel.
For 3 days, Tarrant County lawmen searched through a wooded area in North Fort Worth. They combed hundreds of acres on the ground and in the air, looking for Dallas teenager Jessica Witt.
Patrick called me in a few days and told me that he had been arrested for murder, but he wasn't guilty, and that she was a girl that he knew and worked with. He worked in some kind of telemarketing firm with her.
She was reported missing from her apartment in Northeast Dallas January 20th. Her parents say she left with a friend, and the parents say that friend told their daughter's roommate he killed Jessica.
They didn't have Jessica's body. They didn't know where it was. And so I wanted to believe that he didn't do it, but I was afraid that he did.
Police arrested the suspect on a parole violation, but still with no proof of murder.
I couldn't believe anything he said. He had lied to me so many times, but I didn't want to believe he was guilty. So it was a yes, no, yes, no, yes, no feeling. And vacillating back and forth between he probably did it to maybe he's innocent. While he was in jail on parole violation, he called one of his ex-convict friends and told him where to find the body and to please go move it.
Spot you're looking for is directly in line with the tower. Are you talking about in the open pasture? Yeah. You'll see a grove of trees between the road and the tower. It's a small grove. There'll be a tree falling over in front of you. You know what I'm talking about? The point you need to be. All right.
I don't know how stupid Patrick could be, how unsuccessful somebody as smart as he is could be to make a telephone call that he knows is monitored to some other guy and tell him where the body is and go move it.
The main thing is, if you can't find it tonight, I know. I'll look. If I go out there now, I got all day.
You know, for goodness sakes, how stupid. Any person with an IQ of 50 would be a more successful criminal than Patrick was.
I'm serious. Do it because Saturday, all gonna hit the fan, and if they find it,
That she was dealing with a man who could put a gun to her head and pull the trigger if she ticked him off. I didn't contact her family for over 20 years because I was so afraid I would hurt them more. When Patrick put a bullet in Jessica's head, he destroyed her family. When he put the second bullet in her head, he destroyed me.
I'm gone. It better be this well. All right. And I'm counting on you. This is my last dog. All right.
But of course, the cops were listening and they went and found the body. He shot her twice in the head. This is Jessica. Deepened. The shame deepened. And I felt alone. I felt like a failure as a parent. I would have drained every drop of my blood out of my body if that would have straightened Patrick out. I would have sold my soul to Satan, anything to straighten Patrick out. I was absolutely terrified that Patrick had sent this man to kill me. After Patrick was arrested, I went to visit him some. I wrote him every day. I tried to be supportive and hoped that he was innocent. I didn't want to know the truth. The truth was too painful to accept. We really didn't talk about the murder. If we did talk anything about it, it's I'm innocent, Mom, and I'll prove it. I'm innocent. I have an alibi witness. I didn't do it. I was crazy in grief. The pain, I didn't give up. I didn't give up for over 15 years after he killed Jessica Witt. I had visited Patrick a couple, 3 times a year in prison. And in 2007, I went to visit and he said, "You wouldn't like me very much if you knew the truth about my crime. It's worse than the cops know."
Bet you wouldn't come visit me if you knew what I really did.
And I could see that he had no repentance for what he had done. And I asked him, I said, what could be worse? She was a gorgeous girl. I learned that he had stolen her grandfather's credit card, and she had told her family that he had used the credit card. And that was why he killed Jessica, because she betrayed him. She told about him using her grandfather's credit cards. She didn't realize what she was dealing with Patrick. She had no earthly idea. Worse than putting 2 bullets in her head. Did you burn her with cigarettes? Did you make her beg for her life? What could have been worse?
Patrick, what did you do to that girl?
Wouldn't you like to know?
He looked me in the eye with that horrible, psychopathic stare. He was proud of what he had done. And it stabbed me in the heart. There was no longer any way that I could stay in denial that he was redeemable. I knew that, for lack of a better word, he had turned his life over to Satan. He had a reprobate mind, as the Bible says. When I walked out of that prison, I was done with Patrick. And he starts to very vaguely threaten me. I was absolutely terrified. I find hundreds of letters from Patrick to this man telling him how to manipulate our family, and I dubbed him the Trojan horse. He was a former cellmate of Patrick's, and Patrick had sent him. So I went to the local sheriff, and he gets arrested, me dead, just like he wanted Jessica dead for betraying him. And I have betrayed him. Years after Patrick went to prison, I get a call from a man who says he's looking for a small rental property. He heard that I had one. And after he moved into the house, the next thing I know, the phone lines were being cut, the water lines were being cut, and he goes to jail. I firmly believe that the man was sent here to kill me. I can't prove that, but I believe it. That the man in Texas is not my golden child. The little boy, he was so cute and so loved and so wonderful. In my mind, I buried that little boy. My son's dead. My little Patrick, my little Peter Perfect, is dead. And the man in Texas is a stranger. I don't know him. All I know is he is a psychopath and he hates me. He wants to hurt me, but he's not my son. My son is dead and buried. To live in caution because I don't want to die. I have no doubt that Patrick, if he gets out, will try to kill me. I have no doubt of that. And so Jessica's family and I decided to work together to keep Patrick behind bars. I don't think that Patrick should have been given life with the possibility of parole. I think he should have been given life without parole, or that he should have been executed. He has no compassion. And without compassion, you're not a human being. But I have managed to compartmentalize it and accept. I left my home because I didn't feel safe. I didn't tell anybody, even my most intimate friends, that I was gone. At this point in time in my life, I know that if Patrick can find somebody else to come to kill me, he will. That's my fear. I have a gun on every flat surface in my house. I have a 17-camera security system on my house. My son Clay lives in hiding, and I try not to live in terror, but
I don't want to be known as the kid that killed his father. And yeah, here I am. It's a hard pill to swallow. I know none of you guys here are judging me, but you just have to realize that is a huge, huge fear of mine. I don't want people, especially her, to know that, I'm hurting the way I am. I'd like everyone to think that I'm fine. Because, if they think I'm fine, maybe I'll think I'm fine. It's a picture of me and my dad. It looks like Christmas. My mom was kind of not in the picture, just have to sit there and be quiet.
See what happens when you don't obey me?
Before my dad got home, Judith pulled me from the corner and told me I wasn't to tell him anything and that I had fun so I could come back the next day.
Hey, hi.
Hey, bud. How'd it go? Did you have a good day?
I wanted to tell my dad what she had done to me, but I guess something in me wanted to please her. I'm not really sure why. It's still not something I can explain or put my finger on, but for whatever reason, I just felt I needed to do whatever she said. Sure. My grandparents and my father raised me. I remember my dad being hardworking. He was my protector. The first time I met Judith, I'm 4 years old. My dad said we were going to meet his new girlfriend. I remember her being really to spank me. A spanking from Judith usually involved a belt or anything she could get her hands on.
No! Please!
I was scared, really confused, and it hurt a lot.
No! Stop! Please!
After the spanking, I'm not allowed to talk, I'm not allowed to eat, and I'm not allowed to play with anything. Really nice, really sweet, and I called her the lady with the yellow hair. She seemed funny, and I liked her. This would have been shortly after Judith came into my life. I look like a happy kid. If I could talk to that little boy, I would tell him to run and never look back. And if I couldn't run, to scream and not stop till somebody came. And that I was not allowed to go into it.
You scared of the dark? No.
We began playing, and Judith's daughter simply said, hey, get in the closet.
See how long you can last.
And as soon as I do, she yells for her mom, who comes upstairs.
Mom! He's in my closet!
And Judith is very unhappy with me.
Go downstairs, now! Richard, I thought I told you not to go in there.
She told me to!
Don't you blame her.
She grabbed me by the arm and then proceeded. So I followed her instructions, and when my dad got there, I told her it was fun and I was happy.
Yeah, it was fun.
That's good.
My dad, shortly thereafter, moved in with Judith. After that day, there wasn't any more private settings between me and my dad actually worked nights at the time, and she had volunteered to watch me instead of me going to the babysitters. So a few days after the first meeting, I was actually dropped off at her house.
Behave and listen to Judith.
You'll be fine.
Bye, bud.
Once my dad left, it's like a switch was flipped and Judith was an entirely different person. She had a daughter my age, so she had told me to go upstairs and play with her daughter. Judith had said the closet in her daughter's bedroom was off limits and father. That was just the first step of control and manipulation. My dad worked nights and days, and he always seemed to alternate. When my dad's around, Judith is nice to me, allows me to be a kid. But I knew, as soon as my dad left, my night or day was about to become hell. Her daughter was allowed to do whatever she wanted, but I didn't have to do anything wrong. I began telling everyone that she wanted to adopt me. She'd recorded me on several occasions, to convince my dad that, I liked her and she was this great person.
You want a good mommy or a bad mommy? A good mommy. Are you happy here? Yeah.
I'm still seeing my grandparents. I usually go every weekend to go visit them. I let them know that I wanted to live with them and not with my dad and Judith. But Judith caught wind of it. One day when I was getting ready to go to my grandparents, Judith pulled me aside and said, when you come back, you're gonna tell your dad that your grandpa hit you with a belt. She wanted to sever the tie between me and my grandparents. I knew if I didn't do what she said, I'd be beat and starved. She was there with my dad, and I remember her staring at me with a very stern look, and I could feel this was still being spanked every day. Sometimes she would choke me. I wasn't allowed to make noise or cry or try and stop her. If I did, I got it worse.
Corey, come here.
Sometimes the bruising was so bad, I'd be forced to lay in a bathtub full of ice water. It was another form of torture. Sometimes she was feeling, extra cruel. She would hold my face under the water as well. There were several times I would pass out.
I can't imagine being held underwater.
I might need a minute. Sorry. So I am with my grandparents, so there's still no contact. The only thing I can do is try and not make her mad and do as she wants me to. Not long after moving in with Judith, she would revive me by beating me. I wanted to tell my dad about everything, but I was too afraid to. I knew what Judith would do.
Remember, keep your mouth shut.
And there was never an opportunity to say anything to him. He was usually back at work before I got up. When my dad is home on the weekends, fear inside of me, and I knew what she wanted.
What's wrong, honey? You look upset.
I don't want to go back to Grandpa's.
Why? What happened?
And so I told my dad that my grandpa was hitting me with a belt.
Grandpa hit me.
I loved my grandfather very much, and it was very hard to lie and tell my dad what he wasn't doing.
Come here. You don't ever have to go over there anymore.
My dad said that he would take care of it. My dad hired an attorney, and I was no longer allowed over there. After this, I have no communication with any of my grandparents. It's just my dad and Judith. I should have known. I'm sorry. It's been a while since I've talked about this. Just a lot of fear coming back up. A lot of memories.
This is a letter from Patrick to me. Ultimately, you did this to me. So while before I was not your enemy at all, I am now. You don't like me, and I didn't and don't like you. Your spite seems to know no bounds, and that's fine because my patience and tenacity knows neither. And I've already told you what the consequences of this would be. I have nothing of value to me left to lose. He's now warning me that, look out, I'm coming for you. He hated me. He wanted me.
Turtlenecks, the one that's sitting on the swings with nobody around. If you see that kid or that child, I'd put them in your arms and ask them what's going on. And if they tell you something and it's too good to be true, it's more than likely too good to be true. And don't stop asking questions. Eventually, Judith forced me to start disobeying and being mean to my father to make my dad mad at me. Judith would simply say, "It's time," and that's when I would have to start acting out.
So your room sure is messy.
I was to run around the house, breaking toys, breaking things, yell, scream, and just all around not listening to him.
More rain tomorrow. Corey, slow down.
My dad would get extremely upset with me.
That's enough.
But it was always easier to do as Judith asked. I knew I had to do whatever Judith said just to survive.
Damn it! Corey! What you did?
If I did as Judith said, that she was lying, then I wish I would have known. I loved going to school. It was kind of my escape from everything. But one day at school, at recess, a teacher approached me and asked me why I was wearing a long sleeve turtleneck in the middle of summer.
Corey, aren't you too hot in that?
No.
The reason I was wearing a brief period where she was nice to me and not spanking me. All the time I wanted to be able to say something to my father, but I was never alone with him.
Get upstairs. Go to bed. Now!
I don't know why he's like this. He's been like this all day.
I always felt so small and out of place. Looking back, I think my dad was being manipulated just as much by Judith as I was, and it eventually felt like my father hated me. One night, Judith woke me up in the middle of the night and handed me a coffee cup and told me to go fill it with water and to throw it on my dad, who was sleeping. I never wanted to do anything to my dad, but it was easier for me to do as Judith said and upset him than the other way around. So I took the cup and walked to the room my dad was sleeping in. I threw the water on him.
What are you doing, Corey?
I remember my dad saying he was gonna beat me and Judith saying, no, you're not.
Robert, calm down.
Did you see what he did?
Yes, I saw.
Judith stepped out and told him to stop and protected me.
Take your pillow and go down.
It was to hide bruising that Judith had put on me.
Wouldn't you rather change into a t-shirt?
No, I'm fine.
She asked me if I wanted to roll up my sleeves or take the neck down, and I had told her no.
Oh, at least you roll the sleeves up, sweetie. I can help.
I said okay.
Judith's favorite thing to say to me is that if I ever told anyone at school what was going on, that I always had to come home to her first. I lived in constant fear that Judith was going to kill me. So I just simply... I'm supposed to pull the trigger and shoot him and claim it's an accident. One day, I'm 10 years old. Judith pulled me aside and told me she had some news for me.
Corey, hold on. Come over, sit down.
She said it was my favorite shirt.
I just really like the shirt.
I understand.
I, more than anything, wanted her to ask me to take my shirt off just so she could see the bruising. But she never did. I'm probably 7 or 8 years old in this picture. The bruising was so bad. I was never allowed to wear shorts or short-sleeve shirts. I feel sorry for this kid. Kid that's wearing long sleeves in the summer, pants.
Care to sleep there tonight? I will handle him.
My dad just kind of looked at me, and I remember him saying, he wished I was never born.
You are such a pain in the neck, you know that? I wish I never had you.
My dad wanted absolutely nothing to do with me, and Judith seemed delighted in that fact.
He's really starting to hate you.
I remember Judith saying, I think he just doesn't like you. And when I was alone with Judith, she told me I did well, and life actually got a little easier for me for a while. This would be my dad and me. This was before Judith came into our lives. Every weekend we would be out fishing. And proceeded to tell me that my dad was dying of brain cancer.
What?
She had said it was terminal and that it was inoperable.
He's only got a couple months left.
I was kind of devastated. My dad had seemed fine. I don't think he was sick or anything. I had wondered why he wasn't telling me, but Judith had said my dad didn't want me to know that he had cancer.
What's the matter with you? I thought you knew what to do.
She asked me why I didn't do it yet, and I had said I didn't know I was supposed to.
Did you forget about your dad's plans, or you just don't care?
I didn't think you wanted me to.
She said the next time I tell you to do something, I expect it to be done right.
If you don't do what I tell you to do, I promise you, you'll regret it. You understand me?
Yes.
I was getting home from school and I got off the bus. Cancer. But she has a plan that they've come up with to make sure that the family is okay.
Your dad is a good man, and he's thinking about our future, and he's got this great plan, but he needs your help.
My help?
Mm-hmm.
She said the plan was that I was supposed to accidentally shoot him and kill him so that the family could get the... I almost feel like he's proud of me or excited or something.
This is important. Never pointed at anyone. Got it?
I watched him load it, unload it, and then he instructed me to do the same.
Go on. Give it a try.
In my head, it seems like he's proud that I'm going along with the plan. life insurance.
You're gonna tell him that you want to learn how to hunt and that you want him to teach you.
She says I'm supposed to pull the trigger and shoot him and then claim it's an accident.
This is what he wants.
Why?
She said he wanted it to happen so that the family had plenty of money to survive on. But I'm not supposed to know it's his plan.
You're not to mention this to him at all, because it would break his heart if he knew. So you are going to pretend you know nothing.
I remember being some of the most confused I've ever been. I asked him if he could teach me how to hunt, and he had said yes.
This is the chamber.
So he got the gun and he showed me how to load it, cock it, hold it, aim it, the whole 9 yards.
You don't need to learn this at some point. Might as well learn it from me, right?
My dad seems excited that I'm interested in something, and he's acting like my dad, like we're having a moment, like he's... But I never wanted to hurt my dad. So no matter if it was his plan or her plan, I just couldn't do it.
Nervous, huh?
I think about it every day.
Come on, let's head back.
It was the last time I had a good time with my dad. My dad always had the biggest smile on his face. That's something I can always remember. I can see how much my dad loved me. If I could say anything to him, I'd tell him how much I love him and how sorry I am. I know he'd tell me that he loved me too, and that none of this would have been my fault. I just wish I could go back to that time and place and fix it or change it and prevent all of this from happening. Judith was in the house, and as soon as we walked in, her face turned.
Oh, you're back already?
Here, I'm gonna put this away.
Okay.
The look in her eyes, it's hard to describe. And I could tell she was getting angry. Judith was there. I just remember thinking to myself, why is she down here? It's kind of weird.
Hi, honey. How was school today?
Fine.
She had sent her daughter ahead and walked with me. She put her hand around my neck and said today was the day.
Stop putting it off. It's time.
She said that the gun was in the laundry room and I was supposed to go get it.
He's home sleeping right now, taking a nap.
I was supposed to take that into my dad's room and shoot him. And then call the police and tell them that the gun went off when I was handing it to him. She actually left to go to her mother's house so she wouldn't be home. I go in the house and I see the gun in the laundry room. I grab it. And I go into his room. And I see my dad there. He's sleeping. He had no idea. I don't want to hurt my father in any way.
You understand?
And at the same time, I've got Judith telling me what I need to do, and it's, at 10 years old, it's all perplexing. I just knew that if Judith told me to do something, I needed to do it. He must have had the day off, idea what was coming. But I thought it was my dad's plan and what he had wanted. I raised the gun and I pulled the trigger. to talk with me.
Accidents happen, son, you understand? You can't beat yourself up about it. It's gonna be okay.
By then, Judith had just gotten there.
Let me go! My husband is in there! I need to see him, please! Please let me in!
And she was behaving as if she'd just lost her husband. I mean, she was acting hysterical.
Corey! Corey! What happened to your dad?
When the detectives were around, she was trying to comfort me. But after that, she's just a totally different person. I remember saying, I better not mess this up and stick to what she told me to say. And I was crying, and she told me to quit crying. I knew then that she didn't care. You know, I had taken my father's life, and it was something I was gonna have to live with, and I felt that. I was just standing there, and I heard him take one last, deep breath, or a gasp or something. And there was nothing. I just wish I would have known then what I know now. I wish I could have been strong enough. I wish I could have told anybody. I wish I would have known. I wish my dad was still here. I wish that every day I'd gladly take his place.
911. I need help right away. What happened, honey? Calm down. Who got shot? My dad. Your dad got shot? Yes. Okay. Where did he get shot at?
An officer arrived first, and he grabbed me and said, "Oh no, he's gone." And then took me outside, and the detective, nothing had happened. I was freaked out. The thought I was having was maybe the gun's broken and I'm not gonna have to do this. You know, at the same time, my thought was, well, Judith is probably gonna beat me if I don't do it, so I pointed the gun to try it again. I was thinking it was broken, nothing was gonna happen. That's what I was really hoping on. Pulled the trigger, and sure enough, it went off. What scared me the most was if Judith found out that I did tell somebody. She would have probably killed me. The day after my dad passed, she was on the phone with the insurance company trying to get a check. She collected upwards of $500,000 from my father's life insurance. And then she went shopping, new furniture, new cars. It seemed as long as she had money to spend and was out shopping that she was being nice to me. The beatings slowed down. They're still there, but not as often. Life, unfortunately, got a lot better for me. This is a picture I haven't seen in years. This would be the classic sports car that Judith bought for me. This is a rare, genuine smile from me at this time in my life. Some days after school and on the weekends, if I was lucky, I was able to get the car out and give it a good shot. I could have told Judith no. I wish at the least, maybe I would have turned the gun on myself rather than had to done any of that and lived with it. I don't like to cry. always makes me feel better, and I don't want to feel better.
We'll see where you wind up.
Between knowing that and her constantly watching me, I just felt like I was close to a breaking point. You know, I realized Judith was just manipulating me into whatever she wanted me to do. And I started to question whether my dad actually had cancer or not. I began having nightmares about my father about every night. I contemplated John, and that was something I thoroughly enjoyed. Anytime I was cleaning it or sitting in it, I was just envisioning the day I got to leave with that car and leave my life and Judith behind. Plan was when I turned 16 to get my license and get out of there. But I think she knew deep down that I was going to be leaving any chance I got. When I turned 16, she actually sold the car. As I got older, I, began to Rebecca, and I couldn't do it. I walk into the principal's office and I see the same detective showed up when my dad had passed away, and I knew instantly what it was about.
But I need you to tell me exactly what happened.
Yeah, this would be my English report. As a senior, we were giving a writing assignment to write that she had a tape recording of me actually shooting and killing my father.
Get in the car.
She said she had a hidden camera in the room, which was able to show that my dad was sleeping the entire time. She'd recorded me on several occasions, so I just assumed she was telling the truth. She said if she showed the police that I'd spend the rest of my life in jail.
Just remember, if you ever tell anybody about what happened, I'm going right to the police with that videotape. And then
I did suicide a lot. I tried to commit about 27 times, from pills to jumping in front of a train. It was the guilt. I didn't want to live knowing I'd killed my dad, and I just didn't know how to get it off my chest. I would sneak out of the house at night, lay on the tracks, and wait for a train to come by. I always got out of the way at the last bell, and the more she said, the less I listened, and I didn't want to do anything she said. As the money begins to run out, Judith, begins to start disciplining me at a more frequent rate.
Corey, hurry up!
One morning, I was getting ready for school. I guess she thought it was taking too long.
Are you deaf? Did you not just hear me calling you downstairs?
I wasn't done yet.
You weren't done yet? You weren't done? You weren't done yet?
She grabbed me and started beating me, asking me what was wrong with me. Why I wasn't listening.
The next time that I call you, you answer me.
I was just tired of everything. I was tired of her.
This is my house. I make the rules. You got it?
I was just kind of the last straw.
Get downstairs.
I knew right then and there that I wasn't coming back home. Judith would keep tabs on me. She always seemed to know what I was doing and where I was at. One day, me and my friend were outside playing catch, and Judith drove by.
Corey!
Hold on a sec.
Come here. Want to talk to you.
I thought she was there to grab me or take me away.
When are you coming home?
I'm never going back there again.
When I told her I wasn't coming home, she got mad at me and she told anybody or told anybody. A few days after I wrote this is when the detectives met me at school.
Have a seat, Corey.
I walk into the principal's office and I see the same detective that showed up when my dad had passed away, and I knew instantly what it was about.
I need you to tell me exactly what happened.
They asked me if I had some information about my father that I'd kept a secret for a long time, and I told them I had.
It wasn't an accident.
I told them that Judith believed that I wasn't. It was the best I'd felt in a long time, but the goal was to collect enough evidence to make an arrest on her. It was such a relief. That felt great. I felt like a new man. I no longer had to, look over my shoulder or worry about anything. I was pretty much living carefree, and it was great. It forced me to shoot and kill him. I told him everything. How Judith told me to set things up, how to dial 911, and what to tell the cops when they got there.
Judith said he had terminal cancer and wanted to go out on his own terms.
When they were done with their questions, I asked them when I'd be going to jail.
No, Corey. Not here to arrest you. Judith is who we want.
They told me I wasn't going to jail, that it wasn't my fault. It was a shock. I had prepared myself that I was going, and I was in disbelief about something that nobody else knew about. Our English teacher was very specific and said it was for her eyes only, and she wouldn't be telling anybody else. I decided to write about what actually happened to my dad. Yes, I did kill him, but not the way everyone thinks. I'm so sorry, Dad. I hope you've forgiven me. I don't know if this is 1,500 words. I'm not going to count them. I trust you, and I think you'll do the best thing with this. Please forgive me. I'm really not a bad person. It was all Judith. I'm glad I wrote the essay. I don't know if I could have ever told somebody face to face. It's the first time I ever admitted it. I still can't, make sense of the fact that she's going to be out in a few years. 10 years, a slap on the wrist compared to life. She got away with the murder of my father. When she gets out, who knows what'll happen. I think Judith probably has a revenge plan. I gotta look out for my son. It's first and foremost. I want to be the dad to my son that my dad didn't get the chance to be to me. It's taken a long time to feel forgiven by my dad. I at least hope I am. I think he'd be proud of me. But I still have fighting to do. I still have people to protect. Still gotta make sure Judith doesn't get to do this to anybody else. It shocked me to my core. I thought I was done with this. It is my understanding that the appellate court thought I was dishonest. And also, much of the evidence was, in their words, strictly circumstantial based on what I said. I was determined to make sure she was found guilty again. But all of a sudden, they informed me that a plea deal had been reached, that there was not going to be another trial. She entered a guilty plea, but it was a Alford plea. And basically that means she still says she's innocent, but admits that a jury would probably find her guilty based on the evidence.
I never get to rid myself of her. I just don't know what else I'm supposed to do to be done with her. Life's not fair, but I don't know why it had to be me. I wish it wasn't.